Alright Zerg friends, it's Fenner once again. I'm going to do a bit of replay analysis now. This guy on All Things Zerg here wanted a bit of help with his replay, so let's go ahead and have a look at what he said. So, ZVT problem, what did I do wrong? I honestly cannot tell. Hi everybody, I know it's a lot to ask, but please somebody watch this replay as it is how many of my ZVTs go. I feel like I'm playing him in every way, but he just kills my units. I was at a loss watching the replay over and over, and it can't be just because his attack was later than I was expecting it to come. Please, really help. Here are the links. So apparently I lose 4 times more money during fights than this Terran. So maybe how to engage, ... Well, yeah. Generally, in a Mutiling Bane game, you will be, well, actually any game versus in a ZVT, you will be losing a lot more in engagement, especially if you're playing Roach Hydra or something like that. The Terran units are just more cost efficient. That's how it is. You got to try and get a better economy than them. But let's go ahead and have a look at this game. Boom. Let's jump into it real quick. So it's probably going to be an engagement issue here. Getting the engagements right is one of the most important things in ZVT. One thing that helps with that a lot is the creep spread, which is why I'm always going on about creep being the most important thing in a ZVT. So let's go ahead and have a look here. We've got looks like a gasless opening from Rykal. Gasless opens are really nice on the current map pool because Reapers just aren't that good. Speeding it up a bit here. What's the Terran player doing? Looks like a CC first. So we can play very greedy. We need to, have we got any scouting information yet? Not really. We should have built a pair of lings at the start so that we could poke at the front. Always build a pair of lings. Especially since Reaper's very popular, I like to start with 4 lings at least until you for sure know that it's not Reaper. We've got the Overlord sack here. That's really nice. We see a lot of racks. So we know it's not 3cc at this point. And we don't want to drone like crazy, like maybe 8 to 16 drones in here, but not taking the gas, and then just pumping units to defend the attack. The macro looks pretty nice from our friend Rykal here so far. We've got the double Evo coming up as well. Lava looks to be being spent pretty well. We're going to have a supply block here, which is going to be quite nasty, as we've still got no Overlords on the way. This one does look nasty. Overlords. That's a big supply block there. So that was painful. But with that said, yeah, that was pretty painful actually. That was quite painful. But Rykal has realized that it's a 2-base build right now, and he's producing units. Now, if we didn't have that supply block, we'd want to get some drones on the 3rd base at least. Generally, you can hold these 2-base builds with like 8 drones on here, everything taken here, and everything taken here. You just a couple of drones on here to make sure you got a bit better economy than them. But since we did get supply block, that's not really going to be possible. Lair should have been started as well, since we do want to get into that Mutiling Bane composition. But right now, you know, we don't have the economy that we need. We've got 42 drones. He's got the mules as well, so he's probably on a better economy here. And our units are not going to be as efficient. Have we got the Baneling Nest? No. So Baneling Nest should have been started as well. When you're playing this kind of Ling style, you always want to get that Baneling Nest quite early. I would just suggest getting it when you throw down the Evos. A lot of people do get it later, like after your lair, so you can get the lair a bit faster. But you might as well just throw it down with the Evos. It's not going to delay your lair too much, and it's going to mean that you're safe against things like this, especially when you scout it. When you see the 3 racks like this, you know it's going to be some kind of bio pressure off 2-base, so it would have been very useful instead of the spines. So with a lot of lings coming out, speed is a long way off due to the opening we did. Actually seems quite slow. I'm sure it should be finished in around 8 to 9 minutes. Something might have gone wrong there, but as long as it kicks in before the bio hits, we should be good here. So let's speed this up a bit. Yeah, as you can see, Rykal's a bit confused about what's happening in this game. He's now going back to drone. This should have been earlier. So basically, when you scout and you don't see 3cc, you want to get 8 drones on here, fully saturate this. Basically, the way to think about it is, you want to be 0.5 bases ahead of them all the time. So if you know they're on 2 bases and they're going to do a 2-base play, you want 2.5 bases. worth of saturation. So you would have this gas, 16 drones, all of that, and like 8 drones on here, and then you'll be able to hold it perfectly. And it's only until he starts his 3rd CC that you want to start thinking about getting more drones. But you should have been producing units up until that point, which what we've kind of done, but the supply block hurt us quite a lot. So let's keep going on into this game. Droning, again, the droning could have been a lot faster, which is going to make this quite hard to hold. Alright, so we're going to look at the engagements here. Here comes a wraparound. This looks like it's going to be a really good engagement. That was a perfect engagement there. You cannot complain about that. Lings around the back, Banelings on creep, hitting the Marines. That was like the perfect engagement. And now we are moving forward off creep. So at this point, we want to be looking at a 4th base and a few more drones as well. So there we go. We've got the 4th base. And how many drones we got? We're oversaturating a bit, which is nice. So we can move all of these onto the 4th base. Fast infestation pit. The muters are obviously really late as well because the lair got delayed. And we did see the Hellbats as well. So we know that it's going to be this bio Hellbat composition, which is quite popular nowadays. And what's really good against this is low muter counts, high Baneling counts. It looks like Rykal is going to start getting aggressive off creep, which is the one thing that you do not want to do in a ZBT. Because maybe not. He's pulling back here. So we don't, against this composition, around 10 muters is fine. We want the Banelings, we want a lot of Banelings so we can just plow through these Hellbats, because Lings aren't too useful against this composition, like everything is just there to counter the Lings, right? But Banelings do pretty well against Hellbats, and as long as you can break through the Hellbats, then the Banelings can get through to the Marines as well. One big thing, I don't think we got Baneling speed, which is huge. Especially against this composition. This composition is all about the ground battles, and with no Baneling speed, it's going to be really painful. So that is a huge mistake there. We are going into a lot of muters. And, we don't want to get too excited about going into this engagement. That's okay. That's okay. If we had the Baneling speed there, he would have got completely wrecked. He would be dead now. That army would be completely dead. You'd be picking off all of the medivacs. You'd be possibly moving into his 3rd base if you wanted to. You're still ahead in supply. If you had the Baneling speed there, it would have been huge. Did we start the 2-2 as well? I think, yeah, we did start the 2-2. This overlay doesn't let me see upgrades for some reason. And now we're going to fight with the muters. I think you could have actually engaged there, but never want to get too risky. Oh, now going a bit too far there. But Rykal's taken... Oh, yeah, this is too far. Especially without Banelings. So this engagement was horrible. Just sit back on the creep, specifically against this Hellbat composition as well. Usually they do have a few more Marauders with this, but typically against this Hellbat Marine Marauder composition, it's all about the Banelings, man. Don't send your Lings in without any Banelings. The Lings aren't going to do much anyway, so you just want to throw everything into Banelings and try and keep the muter count low. Just try and keep them alive. This amount of muters is fine. It's just so you can pick off the medivacs when you clear up the rest of the Marines. And here we go again. Looks like Rykal is starting to fall apart a bit here. Just because that engagement, the macro is a bit weak at this point. Floating up to 1k nearly. So yeah, macro is always something that starts to hurt at this point in a ZVT. Even a player like me starts to float. And it's one thing that can cost you games as well. You just got to be really focused to keep injecting whilst the engagements are going on. So let's skip through this. This is looking really bad already, because once you get to the point where you're just rallying Lings in and you can't spawn any more Banelings because they're in your face, that's the nasty part. And it's really hard to come back from. It kind of just snowballs. And it looks like Rykal's going to get a bit rustled here. But anyway, so the key points of this game is the start... Definitely build 2 to 4 Zerglings. I would recommend just building 4 because Reaper openers are so popular. At least poke the front with the Zerglings so that you don't get caught off guard by any silly builds. Generally, they don't happen much, but you do want to poke just in case, Then the big supply block around 44-50 supply was very, very painful. It was like a whole minute, then 6 overlords at once. Where we could have been droning up the 3rd base and taking the gases in the main base and getting the lair faster as well. Baneling speed is absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial. The creep spread was fairly nice, which is also another big thing. You kept on top of it. Engagements were fairly nice as well. Just, I think it's more of a compositional thing that you need to think about here in the bailing speed, because when this is a very specific composition that isn't used too much, the Hellbats just destroy Lings. So low muta count, high bailing counts is what you need against this composition, and then fight on creep as much as you can with the bailings, and that should do you well. I think that was the main things that I picked up on there. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, just that thing to keep in mind about how much to saturate your bases. So if he's on 1 base, you take 1.5 bases worth of saturation, which is what is that? That's 16 drones in your main, 8 drones on your natural, and then 6 on gas. So what's that total? It'll be 24, 30 drones against 1 base. 30 drones? That sounds like a lot. Either way, that works. And then against a 2 base turn, you want 2.5 bases, so just 8 drones on the 3rd base there. And then against the 3 base turn, you probably want 3.5 to 4 bases, so that you can keep overwhelming the pushing as well. That's just a really simple way to put it. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect in all scenarios, but it just gives you like a framework to go off, so you've got an idea of how many drones to build in every situation. Yeah, so I hope those key points helped you out there, Rykal. Good luck on the ladder, bro. Hope you can get masters soon. And I hope everyone else picked up some tips as well. Peace, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Lings. So this kind of plays into that because you hit a really, well, not a super early, but you hit a really strong timing quite early in the game with 2 gas, and if a player is being too greedy going for that fast 3rd, then you do a